I'm Matt Stash.
I'm Rita and Matt.
Welcome to Beer Reviews, where we review beers in a way that you, the casual beer drinker, can understand.
What are we doing today, Matt?
Today we're going to go south of the border and explore some Mexican beers, or Mexican-style beers.
Arriba!
That's right. And of course, there's always been some sort of fermented alcoholic beverage in Mexico. It was really the Spanish conquistadors and ultimately the 19th century German immigrants who brought what we now know as modern beer to Mexico. So today we're going to start with a couple of lagers. There's actually 3 lagers. One is slightly different than the other 2. We'll talk about that in a little bit. So let's start out with Pacifico Clara.
We have La Cerveza del Pacifico. It is made in Mexico. It is from Mazatlan, imported by Crown Imports out of Chicago. That's Chicago-style pizza.
Oh, that's pretty
good. That counts for something, right?
A deep dish, right?
Yeah.
All right.
The sauce and the cheese on top.
Yeah. As the New Yorkers would say, that's the wrong way to make pizza. So.
I think there's no wrong kind of pizza.
So you may have seen this before in your local Mexican restaurants or perhaps your grocery store. Very, very clear.
Yep.
Very clear.
Lots of bubbles. Mine is very bubbles.
Yes.
You poured mine first.
I did.
I understand where the Clara comes from. That means light in Spanish.
It's a very light beer. It's definitely a lager. Okay, that's sort of like a domestic beer that you may be used to, like a Budweiser, or if you're familiar with Corona, like a Corona.
It has almost an apple taste to it.
It's a little bit mouthy. It has I don't want to say skunky, because skunky is typically a bad thing. It's sort of a musky taste.
Yeah, musk is better.
It has a little musky taste to it, kind of mouthy on the back end.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely a drinkable beer. I'm not offended by it in any way.
No, it tastes. I've tasted several Mexican beers that have this sort of taste, that sort of muskiness in it. All right, we're on to our second beer of the day, Mexican beer. It's what is this called?
This is Cerveza Importada Sol.
Sol, which means sun. All right, that's your Spanish lesson for today.
We already had one, Clara.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my God, we're learning so much.
All right.
This is a product of Mexico as well. It is from the Cerveceria. I can't even. I give up. It's from Monterrey, Mexico.
Monterrey, all right. Take some good
it's also been around since 1899.
So this is one of those 19th century German style beers. Again, it's going to be a lager. You can tell by the color of it. You see the label.
It's lagery.
It's lager colored. It's that sort of golden yellow.
It is.
color.
It is a little more golden than the last one.
This one is slightly darker. Yeah.
Fairly similar.
Now, I've noticed that a lot of Mexican restaurants, a lot of people put a lime in their Mexican-style beer.
Yes, and I heard that was to counteract some of the enzymes in especially the clear bottled beers, to prevent it from skunking.
Okay, well that might explain that kind of musky taste and how that would go well with lime. I have heard that in European-style beers, or real beers, whatever you want to call them, you wouldn't want to put a citrus in it because it oxidizes some of the hoppy flavor. I had something technical.
Something, blah.
But you know what? If you like citrus in your beer, go for it.
If you like your beer in a frosted glass, which could impart flavors from your freezer into your beer,
go for that too.
Whatever too.
Yeah. This one, that sort of musky taste, I feel is a little more acidic and it's a little bit more on the front end. I'm tasting a little bit more forward on my tongue, sort of a acidic taste. It is of that sort of bitter acidic taste, but again, not a florally bitter taste like hops. It's completely different kind of strange bitter taste. But again, still within that reasonable margin of enjoyability of a light lager like this.
Now there are only 2 companies that are really operating in Mexico, sort of blanket breweries, but there seem to be a lot of importers because this one's imported through Chicago. The Sol was imported through, what is it?
Isn't it California?
No, White Plains, New York. Cervezas Mexicanas from White Plains, New York.
It's I think there's a larger agency and then there's Modelo, or the 2 breweries and I can't recall the name of the other one, but for the most part, it's 90% of beer is made by these 2 companies in Mexico. Alrighty, we're down to our 3rd beer for this review. What beer are we reviewing now?
It is Dos Equis Winter Invierno Bock.
Alright, so it's actually a seasonal from Dos Equis.
Invierno Winter Bock.
I don't always drink seasonal beer, but when I do, it's, well, usually not Dos Equis.
Oh, crafted in Mexico, a Vienna-style lager with robust body brewed with fine toasted malts and aroma hops. And your further Spanish lesson, invierno means winter.
Winter, indeed. Now, this is a Bock. It is slightly darker in color. You'll see that when I pour it. Okay. It's a sort of an amber color. You may be familiar with Michelob's Amber Bock. There are a lot of different bocks. There's spring bocks and winter bocks. And a bock, I believe bock means strong, so it's supposed to be a strong beer, or a stronger beer.
Hey.
You can see it
beer.
definitely darker. Okay. This is a lager, and a lot of bocks are lagers. Now, the thing about bocks...
Very caramelly.
Very caramelly. This one is. The thing about bocks is, it started out as a style of ale before lagers were invented. From what I understand, it wasn't particularly popular, fell out of favor, or something to that effect. Lagers were invented, bocks were revisited in the style of a lager, because at that point lagers were all the rage. So typically, bocks that you'll see nowadays are lagers, even though that traditionally a bock is an ale. Someone will, of course, correct me in the comments, I'm sure.
It's crafted especially for the season, and it has the toasted malts and aroma hops supporting light toffee notes for signature flavor. I'm really tasting a lot of caramel, a lot of toasty flavor to this one. I've had bocks that were a little bit smoother. This one definitely has a lot of extra flavor. Sugar, brown sugary kind of taste. But it tastes like, if you ever go to a brewery and you just chew on some of the toasted malts, which they will typically let you do on a tour, that sort of flavor is what's really, a toasted malt flavor is really forefront. Not any hoppy flavor, not any sort of, it's really toasted malt. I can taste that a lot. A little buttery.
Still pleasant. If this was, I could probably do this in the winter. But all right, so it's our lightning round time. We've got our special guest here, Colton. He's my roommate.
He's not crazy.
So far as we know. So lightning round is when we drink a beer. It's usually a domestic, mass market beer. We drink it for 30 seconds and say whatever witty things we can think of about the beer. Sometimes it's semi-insulting. So we're going to put 30 seconds on the clock. We'll probably go over it like we usually do.
Yep. All right.
What are we drinking today for lightning round?
Today's lightning round comes to us from the Make Your Own Six-Pack. It is Desperados. This is, yes, this is blended with tequila barrel-aged lager. It is a beer with tequila barrel-aged lager and natural flavor. And it does come to us not from Mexico, but from Holland.
Alright, so like I said in the beginning, we're reviewing Mexican-style beers today. And this is the one that caused me to not be reviewing Mexican beers, but Mexican-style beers, Desperados.
We have drunk this once before. Perhaps we'll share about that experience in a moment.
Sounds like a positive moment.
It was definitely special. Now this is, of course, a lager. Again, very light as the first two, not dark like the Bock. Yeah, bring it on.
All right, so this stuff, yeah, definitely clear. I would go so far as to say this is sort of a malt beverage.
Ready?
It's an alcopop.
Yep.
Do it.
For some reason, they decided to add lemon flavor to it, which seems very strange because lime and tequila really are married, like in all existences.
This tastes like all the bad decisions I've ever made on spring break.
I was gonna say it's a lot like accidentally picking up the wrong 3 glasses and mixing them together.
It's sort of like lemon drop with beer in it.
Yeah.
It's what it tastes like when you take a lemon drop that's made with brunettes and then you chase it with something terrible.
How are you doing there, Colton?
Yeah.
Well, I can't say it's necessarily an enjoyable flavor, but...
No, not at all. Can you taste that tequila?
I can taste that tequila, but not in a great way. Not in the way you like to taste the tequila.
No, I don't think
well, I mean, it is only just barely afternoon, so...
Well, that's true.
That doesn't ever stop me.
Right.
I'm blaming it on
the last time we drank this, Matt didn't even manage to finish it.
No, my beer game was weak because of this beer.
It was only my extreme commitment to finishing my beverage because, remember, there are sober children in Africa.
That's right.
That there are.
And sober Mormons in Utah.
And apparently sober children in Holland, too, because you know they're not drinking nice.
Nicely done.
They have so many other things they can do.
Swing it, man!
Of course not.
What you don't know.
Well, you don't know. It involves the Illuminati.